Hi everyone, this is Warren from the Rhapsody Piano Studio. I want to welcome you to today's lesson. This is going to be September by Earth, Wind & Fire, and we're going to be learning this for easy piano. Make sure you pick up a copy of the sheet music in the links in the cards as well as the video description below. You can also find a link to the tutorial as well, and the reason why I leave those tutorials there and the reason why I keep using these tutorials is because you can use them to learn piano. Not a lot of people, sometimes I get a complaint once in a while that, oh, I can't play this, there's no instructions and whatnot. Well, these are the instructions in the videos, not only instructions, but just basic practice concepts. I'm trying to teach you guys steps where you don't need to depend on instructions, where you can kind of learn for yourself. So once you learn the stuff that that I'm trying to teach you in these videos, go ahead and click on those tutorials, whatever songs you are practicing, because these steps work for any tutorial, by the way, any level pretty much. I mean, there are a little bit of nuances, but once you have that figured out, go on over and test out yourself, test out your knowledge in the tutorials. If you are really understanding the things that I'm showing you here, you should be able to use them with no problem, okay? All right, last but not least, before we start, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell if you want to catch whenever I go live. And also, make sure you keep up to date with my daily piano tutorials as well. All right, September, I'm going to show you how to practice this. First, I will give you the introduction, which is the first 4 measures. When you're practicing, you want to do one part at a time. We call this process small chunking. The example I use with a lot of my students is that if you thought of every song or piece you played, if it was a musical pizza, here is the first slice. That's it. This is the beginning. Okay, we're gonna go by and show you one hand at a time now. Alright, one thing to notice here is you definitely want to be practicing with a metronome because a lot of these chords come in on offbeats. Offbeat is when it's not on the main beat. So this is 1, 2. You hear there's when I count 2, there's no notes there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those chords are coming in between the main beats. We call them offbeats, and that's what kind of gives rockets flavor. It's same thing with jazz, like little things you can call syncopations as well. So make sure you practice that and count it very carefully. All right, let me show you one more time. All right, and if you notice here too, these are all fifths going down. So if you can also identify patterns when you're practicing, that's also another game changer. So see that? All right, let's try it together. Ready, go. And also, don't worry too much if you can't do this right away. I'm going to explain why it really doesn't matter so much that doing a certain amount of repetitions. There's a really unique way of practicing that I use, and I'm also testing out with my students, so this stuff works. All right, so I will tell you later why it really doesn't matter how many times you do this. It's this whole idea of repetition, spaced repetition. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, here's the left hand. Basically kind of mirroring the right hand in a way. All right, left hand together, ready, go. Okay, back to both hands. All right, we're gonna try that together. Ready, go. Alright, so I mentioned that I have not talked about how many times you need to do this repetition-wise because there's this idea of spaced repetition. Basically, it's different than traditional practice. Or traditional practice, you do it like a million times until you can play it perfectly, right? Maybe you'll spend and you'll hear stories about concert pianists spending like an hour like on a measure or something like that. I really actually don't believe in that. Unless you're doing something for short term, it's a little bit different. Like if you have a test or a gig or a performance coming up and you just have to learn something rapidly, then this is not a good option. But traditionally, with the way I'm teaching in my studio, this option works much better over the long term. So instead of just doing it like a million times, you're just going to attempt it enough, okay? And you get to a point where you feel like, okay, that's good enough. And it's almost like I can't think of a good example, but it's like you try it a little bit, and then you feel like, that's good enough. I'm gonna try something else, instead of just forcing yourself to do repetition after repetition after repetition, which is also why people get really burnt out during practice and they can't really practice for a long time. So you just do this for a little bit. Let's say if I was a beginner, I'm trying this, depending on my level, of course, everything depends on context, but I tried like each hand about like a few times, and then I tried both hands maybe like 3 times, and it was decent, not really great, but decent. Then I would just leave that alone, this section, move on, do something else, keep on working on this song, or even have multiple different songs at the same time, which is also cool, okay? And then I would just do that, and then do some other sections. I can keep practicing at the same time. Then I'll come back to this section that was a struggle for me previously, and you'll find that it's actually a little bit better. So it's kind of like waiting. Instead of just trying right away, you just wait. You wait a proper amount of time, and then you come back and you do it again later. Anyway, I don't want to give you too much details because it could be like an hour-long lesson just explaining this. Look it up online. It's called spaced repetition. All right, we're gonna keep going. Here's the right hand, or let's both hands. Next part. Okay, so I'm gonna split that up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's looking like 4 measures at a time. Okay, now here's right hand. This is, do you remember the 21st night of September? Love was changing the minds. Pretend. We're gonna stop there. I gotta give you words because they do not put measure numbers here. All right. I kind of went a little bit too far. Sorry about that. But anyway, now here, they're telling you to hold the bottom note and play this note on top at the same time. That actually might be kind of tricky to pull off if you are, depending on how inexperienced you are, or if you're kind of new to this piano game. That might not be something you can do right away. So I would say, just keep working at it. This idea is called finger independence. It's a lot harder than it looks. If you can't do it right away, I would just play chords, or you can even take out some notes. Right? It's not like all these like traditional classical snobs or whatever. Like you can leave out some notes in pop songs and jazz songs, things like this. You can definitely change some notes around. You can actually do that with classical music traditionally, but today they kind of made these rules where you can't do that. Anyway, so I just want a quick note on that. If you can't do it right away, just substitute. Okay? All right. Let me show you one more time. Stop it right there. Let's try it together, and we'll take it from the pickup. Do you remember? All right. Ready? Go. All right. Now onto the left hand. Together now. Ready, go. And again, you can substitute here as well. I think a fifth is okay. If this is kind of a little difficult for you in the beginning, then just play the bass. Okay? Alright, but really, if you put your mind to it, you can definitely do it. Alright, left hand together. Ready, go. Now back to both hands. Alright, together now. Ready, go. when I'm playing for you guys, we call that, you know, demonstration. I'm demoing it for you. So make sure you also are, the reason why my tutorials work really well, it's for people who are not patient, it doesn't really work well. Because you have to kind of figure out, get used to the fact like, oh, I'm playing and, you know, playing music at the same time. You see the fingers, the notes that I'm using, the rhythm I am. It's a lot of kind of stimulus, right? A lot of different things going on at the same time. It takes some time to get used to it. But a lot of observation. As your observational skills get better, then those tutorials get easier to use, okay? So I'm purposely playing a lot for you guys here. I don't want you to just play with me right away. Like, you kind of need to watch a little bit in the beginning, and that will speed up your learning process, all right? Let's try it together now, both hands. Ready, go. Okay, next part. Back to that repeat. Okay, so that is end of the first page. This is the third section of the first page. There's a right hand. Okay, let's try it on pretend. We might as well take it from the pickup from Pretenders. Okay, here we go. Ready, go. Pretenders. Back to the left hand. Taking that repeat. If you want to take that repeat. Okay. It's totally actually not necessary to do repeats. Sorry, leave it up to you. Alright, left hand together. Ready, go. Alright, back to both hands. Let me try it again. Okay, let's try that together. Pretenders. Pretenders. Ready, go. Alright, so we're keeping track. How many sections have we done so far? How many chunks? About 3 of them. 3 slices of this musical pizza. So when you have one part at a time, you want to combine them as a whole. And you want to do that as fast as possible so the section don't get too large, right? Because if you are not used to practicing this way, then you need to be able to build up your concentration to get to the point where you can do longer sections. So we're just going to try this whole page now. One page at a time, all right? Now, first time I'm going to play, just sit back, relax, and listen. Now I'm going to go back, play the right hand, play the left hand, hands together. I'm going to play first, and then we're going to try it together, okay? We're going to try that together. Ready? Well, let's take it a little bit slower. Ready? Go. Okay, I'm play the left hand at regular tempo, and we'll practice together at slower speed. gonna try it together now. Ready, go. Now back to both hands. Alright, try it together. Ready, go. Alright, moving on. Don't know what happened there. Alright, moving on to the second page. Okay, now this part is definitely not what I would consider easy piano. So when they say things like easy piano, this is probably the easiest way they could arrange it. So I'll give you some substitution there. Instead of playing the whole entire chords, which are sevenths, right? They're called sevenths because they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes apart from each other. The one thing you can do is either start practicing sevenths in every key. So you start with C major. Alright, then you do D major. So that's something you actually start practicing and going through each key like that. Alright, so like if you pick the random key, let's say like an A major 7th. Okay. C or G major 7th. Well, I mean this one right here, that's an F dominant 7th. Anyway, just these 7ths, get used to that part, okay? That will really help. So you either do that, or you can just take out the bottom note. Right, but if it's a pattern that you have trouble with, a good recommendation is to practice that pattern in as many different keys as possible. Hey, what is up, Kim Jong-in Kai? What is up, man? Where are you from? Sounds like it's Korean. I don't know if you're from Korea, but anyway, nice to have you here. Would love to know a little bit about your background. Share a little bit as much as you feel comfortable. Alright, and hope you're enjoying this song so far. Let's go back to right hand. Try it together, and also I am using a lot of pedal here, by the way. That's another thing that we don't want to add. That's a little too, that might be too confusing for you guys, but let's just try it together now. Right hand, ready, go. Pedal is something that's going to have to come a little bit later until you really get these notes to the point where it's totally automatic for you to play. Because for me, when I'm playing this, unless you leave out notes, that's really the only way to keep the legato in this song. Okay, here's the left hand. Ha, ha, ha. I don't know if I went too far, but let's just try that section. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3. Stopping there. Back to both hands. going. Actually, let's go back and play that together. Both hands. Ready, go. Stopping there. Okay. What was I about to say? No, we're good. All right. Also, this is about halfway, a little more than halfway done with this lesson. So, just wanted to ask you guys if you have been enjoying this lesson, if you feel it's been valuable for you, that you've been learning something from it, hit that like button, help a brother out. Okay. And stick around for the recap. That's what I was about to say. Stick around for the recap at the end. All right. Badia. This is a third row. We also call it third system in music parlance. All right. Badia. Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. Kind of interesting. Well, I'll show you the whole DSL coda, things like that, later on in the lesson. So just do these 1, 2, 3, 4 measures. More like 3. It's kind of like a little variation of what we had in the beginning. Anyway. Alright, here's just the right hand. Remember, if you can't do that, just a top note. Alright. That's it. Ready, go. Okay, left hand. Okay, try it together. Ready, go. Back to both hands. Together, ready, go. Wrong place. Ready, go. Alright, last part of this before it goes back to the DS, which I'll explain in a second if you don't know what I'm talking about. This is the right hand. It's a simple pattern, repeated pattern. We can call it a sequence in a way. It's not exactly a sequence, but anyway. What's cool, I don't know if you guys can notice, there's a hidden line there. So you gotta hear it on the bottom, right? This is a nice arrangement, all right. Try it together. Ready, go. Okay, left hand. Again, if you can't reach that, just bottom note suffices, just the bass. Anyway, ready, go. let's try it together. Oh, we already did it together. Back to both hands. Alright, together, ready, go. Okay, now we're going to do this section, but I want to explain what does the DS al coda mean. DS al coda basically means DS stands for del segno, and I'm not Italian, so don't talk trash about my pronunciation. Anyway, it just means you go back to, it could be the first page, could be the second page, depending on how long the song is, and just depending on how they order it. You look for the sign that looks like it's on, if you go back to the first page, it's right above, do you remember? So it's like a little weird, snaky, Renaissance shield looking thing, alright? Just segno stands for symbol or sign, right? So you look for that sign, that's exactly where you're gonna go back to. And it says with the repeat because you're gonna take all repetitions in this, which makes it so long, okay? Now when that is done, if you look at the second page, look at the bottom row, it says to the coda. So once you hit that sign, and it looks like a compass sign, then you just go straight to the coda, which is the end. And that's how the form works usually with these types of pop songs and whatnot, okay? Alright, so just wanted to explain that. Now we're going to go back, put this whole middle section together. And then after that, we have the end, alright? Give you this entire section just with the right hand. Try it together now. Ready, go. Left hand. 2, 3, 4. Try it together now. Ready, go. Ha, ha, ha. try that together. Ready, go. Okay, I'm going to show you now what it sounds like going to the coda. So let's say you take that DSL coda with the repeat, and you come back to the second page. I'm going to show you what it sounds like going straight into the coda, alright? So from the third row, never was a cloudy day, that's right before the coda. It says to coda. And that's the coda. Also, I'm gonna play the coda for you here, and I want you to guess what I'm going to say next. And then flipping over to the last page. Alright, so that part, if you haven't guessed it by now, you don't have to actually practice that coda. The only part you have to practice is the last page, because that's pretty much a repetition of the chorus. I think that's the chorus, right? It's the exact same thing. So, whenever you have repetitions like that, I recommend skipping it. And then when you play the whole song, like a performance, then that's when to practice that, okay? So we're just gonna take it from page 4. That theme comes back, so the intro becomes the ending. You hear that? Alright, but just the top of the page, and then also we'll take a little bit of a retardando at the end, which means to slow down. So here's just the right hand now. Okay, try that together. Ready, go. Left hand. Alright, together, ready, go. Alright, back to both hands. And with the retardando, there's actually not just only one way to do it. It really depends on your taste. So there are just so many different ways you can slow down. So it's not like what I'm showing you here is set in stone. Let's do both hands. Ready, go. Kind of over-exaggerated that at the end. Just different ways to do that, okay? Alright, now here's a quick recap. See if I can remember everything we worked on in this lesson. When you practice, you want to do small chunks at a time. It's useful to think of every song or piece of music that you're practicing as a musical pizza and dividing it into slices, alright? If we go back to the first page, there were 3 slices to this first part, okay? 3 chunks. So when you have each one done separately and it's getting decent, then you put it all together. So you have 1 page at a time. So I pretty much showed you like 1 section at a time. And if you're gearing up for a performance, you want to get to a point where you can play the whole entire song, which is why you want to head over and watch my tutorial to see what that sounds like with all the repeats, the DSL coda, going to the coda, like everything. from beginning to end. I play it exactly the way it's written in this music. So if you want to hear it that way, plus if you're gearing up for a performance, okay? Second thing, spaced repetition. It's actually the traditional approach is not that great. Just do it like a million times in a row. That only works in the short term. Like if you have like a week or like a couple weeks to get a performance or a song ready, then go ahead and do it the traditional way, like over and over and over again. But if you have a little bit more time and for more long-term progress, look up the idea of spaced repetition. Is where you work on one section enough times, and then just enough times, and leave it up to you when you feel like kind of, like, I'm kind of tired of this, or you get bored, or you're getting tired like mentally. It's a good time to take a break. You can practice something else, which is how you can keep the practice time going because it's refreshing. It's kind of like the idea I even use with reading. The reason that I read a couple of hours a day is because I have like 3, 4, 5 books I'm reading at the same time. So when I read one chapter, I get bored of it, I immediately switch to another book and I can continue to read. The same thing with practicing, which is why the spaced repetition process works so well. Look it up online, Google it, do a little bit of research, you'll thank me. The other thing too is you can definitely leave out a certain amount of notes with this because some of these things are not really easy piano, it's just an easier arrangement. So if it doesn't work for you, then